All right. Javon Hargrave has taken a pay cut. So I'm going to go through this to explain what the possible next steps for the 49ers are. We're going to talk about financial strategy, and buckle up because this is an explanation that you're not going to get anywhere else. Here's the illustration. And as always, I'm going to try to make this as simple as possible. Salary cap gymnastics sometimes are a little bit difficult to conceptualize and difficult to grasp. But this is what Javon Hargrave's contract looks like right now. He signed in 2023, formerly of the Philadelphia Eagles, star defensive tackle who currently is on the shelf with a torn triceps muscle. Chance that he returns for the playoffs, but have not heard all too much on that front over the past several weeks. Anyway, the 2025 base salary, zooming in on it a little bit right here, is now the veteran minimum, $2.1 million. It was $19.9 million before this restructure, or to be more specific, this pay cut. This is not your typical restructure that you see when a player lowers his base salary and then it's converted to signing bonus so he doesn't give up any money. This was a straight pay cut. How were the 49ers able to get away with it? Well, Javon Hargrave had nothing guaranteed in his contract beyond 2024. So all of the guarantees in his contract, as you can see in this column, guaranteed salary, were in 2023 and 2024. Beyond 2024, there was nothing guaranteed. So even though this right here was $19.9 million, there were no teeth behind it. That's why we said that the 49ers had an out after 2024, because they do. And in a lot of contracts, they have outs after the first couple of years, even for the star players. I mean, typically for the star players, it's 2 years of guaranteed money. Nick Bosa and his deal fought for 3 years of guaranteed money. So the out wouldn't come until year 4. But with Hargrave, the out was after this season. So the negotiation isn't that hard. You say, hey, we're going to lower your base salary to $2.1 million. And that's exactly what they did. Now, I don't know if there are going to be any counter moves, counter negotiations after this point. It does theoretically open the 49ers up to designate Armstead for a post-June 1st release next season, where they actually save nearly $3 million on the 2025 salary cap. That's the only way that they'd be able to save 2025 money, is if they designated him for a post-June 1st release. He's only under contract through 2026. The June 1st release, if you do that, the post-June one, means that any outstanding money that would have to hit the money, like dead money, is stiff-armed. It's held back to 2026. So the 49ers would only absorb the dead money of 2025 for Javon Hargrave, which would be $2.1 million plus the signing and option bonus proration. So that's 6.1 plus 1.2. Doing some quick math in my head, that's like a good 7.3, 7.4. It's like 9 million or so. They 10 million, 10.3 million would be his cap number for 2025. And then the rest of the dead money would not hit until 2026. So they have that optionality with this Javon Hargrave maneuver. Now let's look at the bigger salary cap picture. And let me just encourage you to use this as a simple $17.8 million slash off of the Javon Hargrave books. There's no proration. There's no signing bonus, nothing complicated like that. They simply lowered the base salary by $17.8 million to $2.1 million, because that is the veteran league minimum this year. But even if you are planning to release him, you can't do it now if you're the 49ers, because you would lose a ton of money on the 2024, 24 and 2025 caps. That wouldn't make any sense. You want to designate this as the post-June 1st, 2025 release. Anyway, larger picture 49ers finances here. Javon Hargrave's pay cut from $19.9 million to $2.9 million in 2025. So we'll go to the 2025 sheet here. Means that his salary cap hit is going to reduce in 2025 by that $17.8 million. So I have zoomed in on Hargrave's number. It's 28.13 before this restructure. I project the 49ers with $5.5 million of space in 2025. But look, we've got to reduce this number, 28.125 million. We're going to have to go equals minus 17.8. It's going to calculate for us. Boom, it's down to 10.33 million after the pay cut. All of a sudden, the 49ers have 23.27 million in 2025. Now, to pay Brock Purdy to do all this different kind of stuff, the 49ers are maneuvering financially in many ways. It's not just one way of cap saving or one way of opening up money. They're also going to carry over money that they didn't use in 2024 into 2025. So I'm back to the 2024 books. I've got to update these with a couple tweaks because the 49ers have made a few minor signings, practice squad signings. But in general, they're at about 49 million of salary cap space this season in 2024. Whatever the 49ers do not use in 2024 is going to roll over into 2025. So as you can see in 2025, after the Javon Hargrave restructure, the 49ers are at 23.3 million. Say that they carry over 45 million by the time is all said and done. Well, 23 plus 45 equals about 68 million in 2025. So you could see just through this Hargrave maneuver, which opens up 17.8 million in 2025, plus the carryover, they're going to have over 60 million in cap space in 2025. And that's when you start talking about how are you going to pay Brock Purdy, fit all that stuff in. Purdy's going to be eligible for his extension the second the regular season ends. That's early January against Arizona. Even if the 49ers make the playoffs, theoretically, they and Brock Purdy, it's going to take 2 to tango, can finalize a deal at that point. So yeah, that's why you see a lot of these deck chairs right now being moved around for the 49ers as they're trying to figure out exactly the method of financial Tetris. They're playing the financial Tetris so they could find the method of how Brock Purdy's number is going to fit under that salary cap. As far as Javon Hargrave goes, well, he's been a productive pass rusher when healthy for the 49ers. I don't think he was quite at the level of pass rushing productivity that he was in the past with the Philadelphia Eagles, but still, I mean, the game that he got hurt with the torn triceps this year is actually against the Rams. The 49ers play on Thursday, but this was the Rams in week 3. He had 6 pressures, and it looked like he was starting to come to life, and then obviously he tore the triceps muscle. They have missed his interior push. He is not the greatest run defender, and obviously the 49ers run defense has languished. If the 49ers do decide to move on from Javon Hargrave, if this move is a precursor for that, which it obviously could be, since they've been able to already lower the cap hit and set up a post-June 1st profitable penalty on the cap, if you will. They'll actually be able to save money and not lose money by cutting Javon Hargrave. If that's the case, then you look at Javon Hargrave's age and you look at the run defense, which for the 49ers as a whole has not been good enough. There may be a recommitment this offseason to bigger fire hydrant type defensive linemen who are stout against the run, because if you can't stop the run, you're not going to have any fun. The Hargrave is going to be 32 years old next season. He's under contract through age 33. By the way, a lot of people were wondering, well, what about 2026? They've given him the pay cut in 2025. 2026 is the same deal here. 2026 is non-guaranteed money. They could lower that to the league minimum base salary essentially at any point. That's built-in salary cap flexibility in these deals. And it's not just the 49ers. Other teams structure their deals like this. It's not Major League Baseball. It's not the NBA where the full thing is guaranteed in a lot of cases. In the NFL, there were guarantees in the first couple of years. Hargrave did restructure back in March. That's why the signing bonus and the option bonus money push all the way to 2028. But if and when they do cut him, all of the cap money, like the proration here from the signing bonus and the restructures, will accelerate to hit the cap at once, which is why they would want to stave it off with a post-June 1st restructure. The bottom line is what you need to know is 17.8 million have freed up, and the 49ers have over 60 million of space projected in the 2025 cycle, regardless of whether or not Javon Hargrave remains on the roster for that season. We don't know what their exact move is going to be yet, but this has opened up flexibility, and it is flexibility that the 49ers built in from the very start when they executed Javon Hargrave's contract. They signed it with him in 2023. But you think about how they're constructing this team. They're down to number 28 in EPA per play on run defense. They were number 26 last season. So the two Hargrave seasons, and I know he's only played 3 games this year, so we can't blame him for all of this season. But in general, the shift of this team has seen the run defense fall from number 1 or number 2 in 2022 to the bottom of the league over the past 2 seasons. And that's hurt the pass rush because you're not in position to deliver on pass rushing platforms if you can't stop the run. So it's a big problem. It's something I've talked about ever since the very start of the season, since last season, actually. I was talking about it a lot. They've got to improve the run defense at whatever cost necessary so the teams are forced to throw so that they can get after teams with the pass rush. I mean, Nick Bosa is one of your premier pieces, highest paid defensive player in all football, and you want to make sure that that money is being as efficiently put to use as possible. And if you're not stopping the run, well, it's going to be really, really hard to do that. Now, Hargrave does still have some juice as an interior pass rusher. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly how the 49ers maneuver with this situation moving forward. They could just be buying themselves some time since they have this built-in salary cap flexibility on the deal to see who they can acquire, how the offseason plan is going to go. I mean, this season's not even over, right? They play the Rams on Thursday. If they win this game against the Rams, maybe they got something cooking. We'll see how the Seattle Seahawks do against the Packers and the Vikings over the next 2 weeks. And there has been talk about Javon Hargrave potentially being able to return by the postseason. Again, I don't know if that's been put on the shelf. Right now we'd be very, very premature to start talking about the 49ers and the postseason. This was something we were talking about a few weeks ago when they were on a better track than the Seattle, Green Bay, Buffalo trio of games diverted them to. But if they do start stringing together some wins and the playoffs do become a possibility, that's going to become another question. And Hargrave is still on this roster, and his contractual situation for this season remains unchanged. They only changed the part that wasn't guaranteed anyway in 2025. So if you guys have a couple questions, go ahead and ask them. I will be leaving here in a couple minutes. Tim Kawakami and I will be doing a San Francisco Standard live that's going to be broadcast to YouTube, out to Twitter, all that good stuff, but also up on the San Francisco Standard. That is starting in 9 minutes. So buckle up for that because that's going to be some exciting stuff. And I'll answer maybe 2 questions here and we'll go. Juan said, I didn't realize teams had the ability to cut players' pay. Well, the player has to agree to it, but it's a leverage thing. If the money is not guaranteed anyway, then it's like, okay, well, we'll just cut you if you don't agree to it. And I think there's some incentive for Javon Hargrave to play ball. Right now, the 49ers weren't going to cut him anyway at this moment. But I think Javon Hargrave, there can be some renegotiation this offseason if the 49ers do indeed decide to keep him. Or they'll decide to cut him, but that money was never guaranteed anyway. So it's not like Javon Hargrave was losing anything of value in that case. It was just, that's why I say these contracts have a lot of fluff, because if that money in the later years is not guaranteed, it increases the APY. That's why I focus more on fully guaranteed money than APY. San Francisco Standard does have a YouTube channel, so you should check it out. I think they're going to be broadcasting our show there. I think it will be broadcast on mine, but you could also just go to sfstandard.com and you could watch through the actual Standard feed, which would allow you to ask questions on the show. Mike summarizes things up well. Maybe the 49ers know what they're doing. Yes, I think history would suggest that the 49ers know what they're doing. They've been to, NFC Championship game 4 times over the past 5 seasons before this one, the Super Bowl twice. They seem to be managing the finances better than any other team in the league with all the superstar contracts they have on the books. So, yeah, I would think that they know what they're doing. Good summary from Mike. Anyway, hopefully that explains the Javon Hargrave situation to you, 49ers. Just think of it as a simple pay cut for 2025 that sets the 49ers up to maybe release Javon Hargrave, maybe not. Well, we'll see. The post-June 1st release is what would make sense in this situation. There's your salary cap Tetris for today. We'll talk to you soon.